Afternoon, everyone. So after watching the videos, the story about Jaden and Zoe, man, Zoe's story was very hard for me to watch, because kids is always a soft spot for me. Anywho, the behaviors that I saw with Zoe, she was very angry, but she had every right to be angry. She went through, as a little kid, she went through a lot. She felt neglected, she felt unloved, and eventually she started to feel numb. Her correlation with adults was that every time an was negative for her. Her mom wasn't really in her life. Her mom wasn't a good caretaker. They were trying to take away the parental rights from her mom because she wasn't a good parent. She moved a lot, which made her feel like, why that neglect, why nobody wants me, why can't I have some stability? And then when they took her brother from her, she saw some adults, and then out of nowhere her brother is now gone, and they didn't even tell her. So that brought rage with her, and she started to really lose it. And I feel like she was entitled for that. She made a comment and she said, you see what I do but forget why. That stuck with me because everybody kept saying, oh, to try to put her on medication and all that stuff, but they're negating from the fact that they took her from her brother, they separated them, she hasn't had stability, she's a baby still. Her mom does more so is caring about getting her brother back, but she said, what about me? So she has all this rage, anger, and she's feeling neglect. But on the bright side, she was very kind to her brother. She loved her brother. She was his protector. She was like his teacher also. She taught him things. She was very nurturing to him, and he was her safe space until they were apart. I noticed that she said also that this is a never-ending cycle. It's like there's so much trauma, and every time she tries things start to get better, so she thinks things go back. And she always related herself with tornadoes. And in the end, because in the beginning of tornadoes was like disastrous stuff, but in the end, she kind of changed her perspective that after the tornadoes and after that, stars are born. And she said that her and her brother were stars. So that's Zoe. Jaden went through a lot as well. Her mom was addicted to meth, and then her mom passed away, and then she had to live with her stepdad, and he abused her. So then she left that and was living at the school, and then a friend or a classmate or someone saw her and moved. They said that she could stay with them, and she then moved in with her and her boyfriend and some other girls. Turns out the boyfriend was a pimp, and he kept saying, like, you can't live here for free. So basically you have to do something. And she ended up having to watch, sexual activities. And then eventually someone tried to rape her and hold her at gunpoint. And they said that, she was saying that the only way that she could do this is if she's on drugs. And she was like, now I'm going to be like my mom. And she didn't want that. And so she ran away after the boyfriend, Joker, ended up, I think he overdosed. So she ended up running away, and then she went with a mentor to a church, and the mentor introduced her to a family, and that's the family that wanted her, and she's with that family to this day. It was a lot. I saw she was very scared. She had no choice. Jaden had no choice but to live that lifestyle for that period of time because she felt neglected. No one wanted her. She didn't have any stability. Now, I believe that their behaviors was motivated by their traumatic experiences. They had a lot of things, and they didn't have an outlet. They didn't have a safe space to vent or to get the help that they need. What I learned from the video with the lady that was speaking is assessment is so important. Assessing these adolescents will help that to know how to maneuver with them and how to help them. If you're constantly assessing them, and not just in a therapeutic setting, but also a pediatric setting, because based on what the video was saying, that if the if they were able to see these symptoms prior to, a lot of these kids wouldn't have the illnesses that they have, because traumatic experiences at the end of the day does affect the body, the mind, the growth. I was in my notes, it was saying it reduces, if you reduce adversity with home visits, educating parents, public health, treatment, all that stuff. It can help not just the behaviors, but also it can help the developing hormonal system, brain structure. So what I've learned, assessment is so vital. We were told to stay under 5 minutes, but that's what I got. The scripture that I would use for my clients is from Psalms 68, 5 and 6, that God is a father to the fatherless. He can be your father. In these 2 cases, I identify with these children not having parents, and God can be your father. He can be what you need. So that is my time. I'm over time. Thank you.